is this up sooner?
I don't. You have to click full screen. Is that full screen? y'all. I have to hear that. The drum roll. How y'all doing tonight? I'm over here being just as, I don't know about y'all, but I'm in recovery. Okay, I just want y'all to know, 5 days. Then we went to the bonus training. Then we went to tape some Get Wealthy episodes today. And hey, it's on and popping. Guess what? It's Get Wealthy Wind Down Watch Party. So come on in, come on in. If you are in the chat, let me know who's here hanging with me this evening. Who's here hanging with me this evening? And if it's your first time at the Get Wealthy Wind Down Watch Party, I tell you, that's a mouthful, but it's all in love and all in fun. So good evening, everyone. Come on in. Come on in. So let's see where you hail from so I can give you some shout outs. I see Lisa Briggs in the house, Deborah Mighton, holding it down, Arkansas. All right, all right, all right. Cassandra Brooks, Tamiko. Hey, Tamiko, right here from the DMV. Joyce Valentine, St. Louis, Missouri. Is that Missouri or Missouri? Cynthia London from Connecticut. Let's see, is it Takia? Charlotte, North Carolina. I love it. I love it. Beltsville, Maryland. Linda, welcome to the WealthyU Society. Linda Crohn's in our newest cohort. Karen is here and she is all in Clinton, Maryland. Vivian Fluellen, Detroit. That's right. That's right. Welcome, Vivian. Valerie Thomas, the ATL, of course. Donna Shroud, welcome to the WealthyU Society. Lisa Lloyd, good evening. Good evening, Memphis, Tennessee. Yes, yes, yes. Sharon in Milwaukee. We got it all. Richmond, Virginia. Fairfield, California. Yeah, my long time inner circle coaching, Fairfield, California. And of course, our ambassadors are here with us as well. So good evening, everyone. I'm Deborah Owens. I'm founder and CEO of WealthyU, where we help Black women accelerate. Say it in the chat, put accelerate their financial growth. And if you don't believe it, we bring the receipts. That's right. If you were with us all 5 days of our 5-day Savvy Money Makeover Challenge, we have a lot of fun, a lot of fun. That's right. Accelerate. That's exactly what you saw when you watched our Get Wealthy program, which is certainly what we're doing this evening. We are bringing more knowledge, dropping some more knowledge on you. One of the things that you must understand about your ability to achieve the level of financial success you desire and deserve, that it all begins in here, right? Mindset. I'm not going to say the rest. In the chat, let me know if you know the framework for financial success in the WealthyU. It is mindset. Then what is it? Let me see it in the chat. Mindset, our 3-part framework. Come on now, y'all moving a little slow. I'm gonna get that's right, Deborah. Mindset, strategy, and execution. And you certainly saw that demonstrated in the Get Wealthy episodes that you had for your homework last week. And I gotta tell you, I had some phenomenal conversations this week with many of you who have leaned in and joined our WealthyU Society program, because that's right, mindset, strategy, execution, MSC, that is the formula. See, Karen, she got away with words. Y'all, we gonna watch out for Karen, because Karen, she be coming up with them acronyms. Did y'all see that graphic Karen dropped on us this week about wealth? Man, I mean, we are not out here playing in these internet streets trying to build our wealth. That's right. So I just love having fun. And I hope you do too, because tonight it's our Get Wealthy Wind Down Watch Party. And it all begins with a glass of vino. So if you don't have your favorite glass of vino, that's on you. Because listen, I am drinking my favorite, a Cabernet Sauvignon. My hubby, he kind of dropped something different, but whatever. We are here to enjoy this show. You know what's really, really cool about the Get Wealthy Watch Down? My see, I can't even say it. I ain't even had it. Let me toast you first so I can get this. So, welcome to our Get Wealthy Wind Down Watch Party. And tonight we are going to view another episode of our Get Wealthy program. And I'm really excited about this because if any of you have attended any of our Legacy Wealth Master classes, you know that we bring some amazing women. And those classes are really all designed to help you to take a holistic approach about what it means to build wealth, right? And it's more than money. That's what I want you to understand. It's more than money. Like, so many of you could be so much further ahead if you had insight. Okay, so here's what I want you to understand. There is a difference between information and insight. Agree or disagree with me, okay? So here's what I want you to say. The insight gives you the why it works, right? See, many of you are just taking information, and you know you going here, you heard something over here, you doing this, you doing that, but you're quite not seeing any results. And the reason that you aren't achieving any results is because you don't know the why of it. So if you don't understand the why of it, you don't know how to apply it to your specific situation. And so that's what the Get Wealthy Watch Parties are about. We are now into our 12th episode. 12th episode. And one of the points that I wanted to make is that the most important thing that I learned, and I can't say this enough, that really impacted my ability to accelerate my personal financial growth, the financial growth of WealthyU, the financial growth of the business, was that when I sought help, when I got coaching myself, so often I was sitting there just taking notes, making sure I don't miss anything. What did he say? What did she say? Making sure I don't miss anything. And it wasn't until I stopped taking notes and observing people, and I started listening and figuring out the process, right? What was the process that they used to achieve whatever the result of the particular strategy or tactic was. And then, sometimes I'm at 1, 2, 3 day conferences. I speak at different conferences, but I go speak for my hour and then I'm out in the audience because I know that the most valuable asset is knowledge, but more importantly, insight. And so the point of these Get Wealthy watch parties, and if you haven't gotten your watch party guide, I want you to use this as a guide. And so in the chat, if you guys could put the link tree up, just and in the comments section on Facebook, if you could put the link tree, WealthyU link tree up, so if people don't have a copy of that viewing guide, they can get it. And so the viewing guide is really about you watching this from the lens of your takeaway is what is the 1 to 2 things that you learned today that could make the greatest impact on your situation. And listen, it's different for everybody. That's what I want you to understand. And so tonight, let me just cue up this episode. This episode is Jandy Turner. She is CEO of Acuity Events. She does corporate events all over the world. And she is also the author of Golf the sport of business. And what many people don't understand is golf, the reason why it's the sport of business is because that's where business gets done, right? That's what business gets done, where business gets done. But more importantly, it's a way that you can position yourself, and I've been talking about this all week, position yourself to prosper, right? It's not 90% of your success is not based on what you know, it's based on who you know. And so this is about networking to build your net worth. And that's how you do it when you level up on LinkedIn. Isn't this making sense to you guys? So we're going to get right into Get Wealthy, and our episode is with Jandy Turner. So let me just make sure that I pull up the correct link. Perfect. Love it when that happens. Now, why can I see it? And it can't see me. Okay, so let's just see what's going on here. Okay, can everybody see Get Wealthy? Awesome. I'm Deborah Owens, America's Wealth Coach, and it's time to get wealthy. You're going to finally learn exactly what you need to do to achieve the level of financial success that you desire and you deserve. Have you ever heard that your network determines your net worth? Well, it's certainly true. And if you've ever heard the quote by Nipsey Hussle, who says that if you look in your circle and you're not inspired, you're not in a circle, you're in a cage. And perhaps that's why so many African Americans and women are taking up the sport of golf. And the sport of golf because it is said to be the sport of business. And that's exactly the conversation we're going to have today. So here's what they don't want you to know about what it will take to achieve financial success. First, it's not what you know, it's who knows you. And then secondly, the other thing is that your network really does determine your net worth. And finally, that success is a contact sport. And that's why I'm so excited to be having the conversation that we're going to have today. And that's with someone who basically took her fun golf outings with friends and turned it into a full-fledged event planning company that takes people all around the world on business and golf trips. She also wrote the book, Golf, the Sport of Business. And I'm excited to welcome Jandy Turner, CEO of Acuity Events, on to WealthyU. So Jandy Turner, welcome to Get Wealthy.
Thank you for having me. It's a pleasure to be here.
Well, I know how excited you are about the sport of golf, if you will. You've written a book, but before we get into that conversation, I want you to just share with our audience just a little bit about yourself.
Sure. I'm Jandy Turner, born and raised in Baltimore. I grew up playing softball and basketball. Those were my sports of choice. You could not tell me that I was not going to be one of the first women's professional basketball players. However, one small problem, the WNBA didn't exist when it was my time to do that. So long story short, I went to the University of Virginia. I played engineering instead of basketball and built a career in management consulting following graduation until the entrepreneurial bug hit me.
Well, it's interesting. You talk about the entrepreneurial bug, and I certainly alluded to in your introduction just about, you were playing basketball and softball. So talk to us a little bit about how you ventured into this sport of golf.
Right. Well, I just love sports. And coincidentally, I never grew up playing golf. There was a golf course, maybe 15 or 20 minutes from my house, and we drove through it. I didn't know anything about it. It looked pretty. But one Saturday afternoon, my husband is a golfer, and he was watching the LPGA, the women play on TV. And they were playing something called the skins match. And basically in a skins match, if you win the hole, you win a pot of money. So the women were playing and they were winning money for their charity. So if you win this hole, you get $10,000. You win the next one, you get $10,000. And I was like, oh my gosh, this is gambling and sports. Where do I sign up? So I said to my husband, hey, that looks easy. I'm an athlete. Can you teach me how to play? Well, my God, golf is the hardest sport I have ever attempted to learn how to play. And it seems like it's a sport that I had to learn how to play versus other sports sort of came naturally growing up. So he endeavored, if you will, to teach me how to play. It was an endeavor of love. I was really nervous on the course. I didn't want to play with other people. When we got to the course, I would be like, okay, let that group go ahead of us. Let that group go ahead of us. And he said, you can't do that. There's always going to be a group coming. So finally, I got paired up with him and these two other guys, and I was mortified. And, the guys hit the ball, goes left. Next guy hits the ball, goes left. I hit the ball, doesn't go that far, but I was like, oh my gosh, maybe I'm not as bad as I think I am, or maybe I may be as bad as everyone else. So from there, I said, I dedicated myself to learning the game and being a better player.
Well, the reason why I wanted to have this conversation with you today is one of the things that you recognized as you became more involved in the sport is that the other benefits to golf, and then went on to write this book. So when we come back, what I want to talk to you about and help you explain to our audience why golf is much more than just a game, and tie it to this whole conversation around how you can build your network through the game of golf. So folks, we're going to have a great conversation. Lean in, because if you want to know the real secret to building a network that can have an impact on your ability to be financially successful, you're going to want to hear this conversation. So don't go anywhere, folks. We'll be right back.
Let's be honest, as successful women, we're crushing it. Maxed out 401.
Back to the conversation. What we know, it's who we. Welcome back, everybody. I'm Deborah Owens, host of Get Wealthy, and I'm excited to be having a conversation really about the game, the
the game and the sport of golf, and really help everyone who's watching understand why it is much more than just a game. And my guest today to have this conversation with is Jandy Turner. She's CEO of Acuity Events, an event planning firm that hosts corporate events around the world. And she's also the author of Golf, the Sport of Business. And so, Jandy, thank you so much for coming on, having this conversation, because I think it's important for folks to understand that oftentimes it's not what we know, it's who we know and who knows us. And certainly what you've learned, and one of the reasons that you wrote the book is to really help expose people to the sport. However, the way I want to kind of enter into this aspect of the conversation is, come on now, golf, it's often seen as inaccessible, expensive, and not necessarily a Black sport. And so what would you say to that, sort of perspective that many of our viewers in our audience might have about the game of golf?
First, I would say it's our time. If not now, when? But let me take you back a little bit, about 20 years ago, before I was in the golf industry, before I could really play the game. One Memorial Day, I got together 16 women because we did not have to go to work. All of us had dabbling interests in golf, very primitive, if you will. I was able to, through my network, connect with my friends who work for Marriott. And I said, hey, I'm having a golf tournament for 16 women. I need some prizes. Can you donate some overnight stays? Bam, done. I had another friend that worked for Bank of America. We need some swag. Can you clean out the corporate closet, if you will? She found golf balls, tees, towels. So through my network, number one, I was able to feebly put on my first golf tournament for 16 women. And the most interesting thing about that was they came, they played, and they did not want to leave, because after the round of golf, after prizes were given out, they sat there in that clubhouse and talked and networked and learned more about each other. I was done. It was a great event. At the end of the event, they said, when is your next event? I didn't have a next event. I hastily put one together, 4th of July weekend. Men came, women came, and the result was the same. The golf was one thing, but after golf, they stayed, they networked, they got to know one another. So that was sort of one eye-opening to me. Golf was one thing, but look at how these people are connected. And again, through my affiliation with golf, people came to me and asked, what's on the agenda for golf next year? What events do you have lined up? Do you have any travel lined up for golf? I didn't have anything, but I knew it was something about the sport that was pulling me into it. So I decided to research, and I did a full-blown business school industry analysis of the golf industry. And I found out that golf was pretty flatline. It wasn't growing, but there were segments that were growing: women, minorities, and juniors. And the other thing that I found out in my research was that golf was all about networking and corporate partnerships and corporate sponsorships. So for everywhere the PGA goes and hosts one of its tournaments, they have some charitable component where they are making a contribution to that community. But how do they make that contribution to that community? From business partnerships, from networking. So again, 20 years ago, my ears and eyes were opening up that this was larger than a sport. So over time, I settled on developing a golf event planning business, which in and of itself has been very, very viable for me. But one of the things that I've learned from producing hundreds, and I've never counted hundreds, if not thousands of golf tournaments, is that business gets done on the golf course, that the conversations are a bit different, that the relationships are a bit more authentic. So when you think about your network, who plays golf? For me, it's the people I want in my network. When you think about, it's not for Black women, it's not for, Blacks or what have you, it's our time. I'm in a golf club that has been around since 1938, a Black women's golf club. So we've been there. We're waiting for everyone else to come to the table to see what's there and to see what's available.
Oh, I think, and the reason I wanted to bring you on to talk about, your discovery, right, of golf, but really coming to understand that it's more than a game, right? It's more than a game. And what it allows you to do is really expand your circle. And so in Get Wealthy, in our show, we use a framework, mindset, strategy, execution, which really leads to financial success. And I would say it could be applied to, you certainly exemplified that because you went through this journey of discovering golf and now it turning into a full-fledged business. But I'm sure there are a lot of viewers who are thinking, well, Jandy, this sounds great, but I don't even know how to get started. So when we come back, I want to talk about the mindset that anyone who wants to understand the significance of golf and its ability to expand your network and how they can get started when we come back. So don't go anywhere. We're talking about golf, the sport of business, and how you can use it to not only network, but also to increase your network. I'm Deborah Owens, America's Wealth Coach, and we'll be right back.
All right, so I'm going to let this breathe for a minute. And what I want to know is, what was the insight, right? Like in the chat, I would love for you to share what the insight you just gained from Jandy, right? So I'm gonna, after you all say what you think, I want to just delve into this. Business gets done on the golf course. Use your network to connect. That's right. Excellent. Connections. Listen, I'm going to be brief because she's dropping some real knowledge. 90% of your success is based on exposure and positioning. Now, one of the things I started off talking about was Nipsey Hussle's quote, right? Are you in a circle with people who you're inspired by, or because if you're not, you're in a cage? Now, certainly that's what WealthyU is about. WealthyU is about exposing you to different concepts, different knowledge, different people, and giving you insight. And this is a key insight. Some of you are like not even in your own little cage. Some of you are in your cage by yourself. And you feel like if you can just work in your own strength, that some of you even believe that you should be able to figure it out on your own. If you get more education, if you get this, if you could get, no. All right. The point that she was making is that she observed very early on that when you participate in golf, you are making connections. So the key insight here is that you cannot be on the outside looking in, that if you want to build your network, if you want more opportunity, if you want a new job, if you want new business opportunities, if you're an entrepreneur, then you've got to get out of your cage and you've got to position yourself in a circle with other people who have those same aspirations and desires. And golf is a venue or a strategy for you to do just that. Now, I can tell you, my husband's a golfer, all his friends are golfers. All they talk about is golf day in, day out. Now, I've been telling myself, Deb, you need to get out there. And in fact, when I was in corporate, I would golf. You know why? Because I didn't want to be left out. I knew those dudes would have an advantage on me for sales. And just wait, I want you to hear what else Jandy has to say, because I figured that out very early on. So are you enjoying the show? Let me see. I agree with that statement. Golf is not just for men to build a network. All right, so let's keep it moving. But again, I want you to apply this to your situation. What are you going to do?
Hi, I'm Dr. Jackie Hood Martin, and I have a question for you. Ever feel it?
Hold on, I'm just gonna skip.
Like, she is CEO of Acuity Events, an event and a planning firm, and we're talking about the game of golf. So, Jandy, here's what I want to start with, because I think, my husband is a golfer and I've known you for years and kind of seen how your business has expanded. To your point, golf is expanding. I've got one question for you. Do you feel like the kind of success that Tiger Woods being Black brought to the sport also has increased people's awareness of the game as well, and maybe desire to perhaps want to learn?
Absolutely. Tiger Woods has been a true accelerant for the sport of golf. Golf is golf. It's been around. People quietly play golf, if you will. When Tiger Woods came on the scene as a young kid almost, and basically we got to the point where he was successful so early on in his career, everybody took notice. Existing golfers, non-golfers, women, children, everybody. So what he has done and continues to do for the sport is nothing short of phenomenal. The Masters is coming up. Yes, they would have had decent ratings on TV, but by Tiger saying that he is going to participate in the Masters, everybody will have an ear or an eye tuned into the Masters this weekend to see him.
Well, it's interesting that you say that, because even though he has not been playing, my husband's an avid watcher of the Golf Channel. It is just amazing the amount of programming that they've built around him, even though he's not playing. And so I want to talk to you a little bit about, if you were someone watching this program, what is the mindset that you need to bring to the game so you can overcome perhaps some of the apprehension that you may have about the golf being something that you can acquire, play, and expand your network with?
Sure, I'll talk about a couple of things. A lot of people say, I don't know anyone who plays golf. Well, let me throw a few statistics out there. There are 25 million golfers in the US. 6 million more golfers started playing during the pandemic. But here's a statistic I like. There are 6 million women playing the game. And 73% of female professionals who play say that golf benefits them in business. So again, there are people out there you just need to find. Some people will say, oh, I'm not interested in playing golf. Okay, you might not be, but your colleagues are, your customers are, your suppliers are. If you don't want to or don't have the physical ability to play golf, there's still opportunity to be in and around the game. For example, we talk about the Masters Golf Tournament. If you are in business and you have been trying to get a call with a particular client and they're not returning your call, I guarantee you, if they are a golfer and you ask them to come and play a round of golf, they'll start listening for your call and take your call. Similarly, if they're not a golfer, but you invite them to something different, a professional golf tournament, doesn't have to be the Masters. The tickets are a little hard to get. It's a lottery system. However, there are professional golf events around the country, and attending a golf event by yourself, with a client, with a spouse is a different experience. It's not like 60,000 fans screaming in Raven Stadium. It is an opportunity to, one, see the beauty of the golf course and walk the course with the golfers. So there will be people following Tiger Woods all around or their favorite golfer. It's also an opportunity to sit in a chalet over one of the signature holes and sip on wine and have decent, quiet conversation with a potential a client, prospect, if you will. So again, a lot of people say, oh, I don't play. I don't know anybody who plays. Well, people are playing and people are around the game. Some of us say we don't have time. Well, time, we make time for what we want to do. We binge watch on TV. We watch series every week. So I'm not, I don't buy that one. And then other people say, what do I suck? What do I do if I suck at golf? I'm not athletic. Well, one, I encourage everyone to take lessons and learn the game. But most importantly, the thing I want to get across is you do not have to be Tiger Woods to play and enjoy some of the benefits in the game and build your network. You have to learn the rules. You have to learn the game, take a series of lessons and practice, but you don't have to be this diehard golfer. Only about 90% of the golfers, but now let me flip it. Only about 10% of the people who play golf break 100. That means score less than 100. So there's 90% of the people out there playing golf who have high scores, scoring over 100. Most people don't know that. You have to be decent, but you don't have to be great. And it's something about once you take lessons, you practice, and you get out there on that golf course, you kind of fall in love with the sport. You fall in love with the opportunity to network and converse with people during your round of golf. It is just a wonderful opportunity to be in a different circle, in a different network. And there are plenty of charitable golf tournaments out there that you can join. There are clubs and leagues that you can join. The opportunities are immense. It's just a matter of making that commitment to yourself, getting your mind right that this is something that I can do. This is something that I want to do. And here's my roadmap or my plan for doing it.
Well, Jandy, the other aspect of this, and what I want folks to understand, is many times you are in a career and you are in organizations. And one of the points that I made earlier is it's not who you know, it's who knows you. And so when you're in these careers and your company is participating in an event, or perhaps you're going away for some kind of leadership conference, and typically there is some kind of outing for getting to know people, and oftentimes it happens to be golf. And what would you say to people who are in these roles, don't feel like that's something that they need to take part in? What would you say to them about how participating in these events can really impact their career either positively or negatively?
Right. So I would say that you need to be in the conversation. And if you're not in the conversation, your name needs to be in the conversation. And I'll give you a case in point. If you work in an organization, your boss or your boss two levels up is a golfer, 9 times out of 10, there will be plenty of business opportunities to represent that organization in a charity golf tournament or to attend a golf tournament. And if your name pops up on that list as a golfer, it's fantastic. Otherwise, on Friday afternoon, you're sitting at your desk, and those who do play golf are out playing golf, building relationships with the boss or their peers, and having their name in the conversation. So I would say, it is a career accelerant if someone knows that you play golf, especially if you're in a culture that does recognize golf, recognize the benefits of golf. And think about it, if you are one of the only, that sets you up very nicely for that. So I would just encourage you to look around your environment, look at people. Sometimes you don't even know that people play golf, but there are telltale signs. The hat they may wear on a casual day might be a golf brand or something like that. But it's most important not to be left at the desk or when there is a corporate retreat. And I produce these all the time. I produce golf and spa retreats. And invariably, the women head to the spa, the men head over to the golf course. And there are 1 or 2 women that go to the golf course. Trust me, they stand out. Their name is in the conversation, and they get recognized. So again, you want your name and yourself to be in the conversation.
Yes, and that's a great example, right? Of it's not who you know, but it's who knows you. And so one of the ways that you can really stand out and people get to know who you are is by you participating in those events that the majority of other folks aren't. So no, I'm loving this conversation. And when we come back, Jandy, I really want you to talk about strategy. Okay, so I want you to actually give our audience okay, I'm watching Get Wealthy. I hear what she's saying. Now what are my next steps? So when we come back, folks, we're going to talk about a strategy for you really getting into the game of golf and not being so concerned with not doing well at it or not being a good golfer, but you begin to understand how it's more than golf. It's about really expanding your network. So don't go anywhere, folks. We'll be right back.
All right. I don't know about you, but I love this conversation with her. So I want you in the chat. What was the key insight? Right? And you heard her say something too that I just talked about, because it's what WealthyU is about. What is the most significant benefit, okay, that's right, expand your network. What did she say? Visibility. Boom, boom, ding, 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 ding. This is why this is so important. You got to stand out. Exposure is 90% of it. It's relationship. So here's the whole point of Get Wealthy and what I am trying to get across to all of you in WealthyU Society. It's the difference between playing checkers and chess, right? Checkers and chess. I just want you to think about it. Checkers, most of you are playing checkers. You're thinking about what's my next move? What's my next move? If I just get to this, I'm gonna go here, and then if I get the next. That's not how you play chess. Chess, you gotta look at the board, and you have to already be thinking about how you're going to capture what? What? You're going to make the moves. You're going to capture the pawn. You're going to capture the bishop. But you are going for checkmate, right? And so in order to do that, ladies, Long term, boo. Long term, right? That's what we have talked about. It's the difference between day to day, week to week, month to month, year to year, decade to decade, generation to generation. All success is based on long-term strategy. Do y'all get this? So that's what you're being exposed to. That is the point of Get Wealthy. That is the point of Wealthy You. That's why many of you need to be in the Wealthy You Society and need to be in fast track training. By the way, there's still a couple of spots available, but you guys out here thinking you're gonna get somewhere playing checkers. You're not gonna get anywhere playing checkers. You got to get in the game. You got to play chess. You got to play golf. I mean, is this next level? Here's the deal. Most of the people in Wealthy You Society, they've already been introduced to Jandy. Why? In our Legacy Wealth Masterclass. She came in, dropped knowledge. I got people playing golf right now. Some of them went on events. Sophonia was went to I think Sophonia's in here. Went to Black Girls Golf. Went to their retreat. Ladies, it's only gonna happen if you make it happen, right? But you can't do this on your own. If you're ready, and what was the other thing she said? That it will accelerate your growth, right? And so that's what this is about. This is about accelerating your growth so that you can finally live the lifestyle you desire and you deserve. You deserve it. Many of you worked hard your entire life. It's not did you guys see Tamika? Tamika said, that's what I did. I thought I had to work hard all my life. That's what my parents told me. But it's not working hard. It's working smart. It's being strategic. You know, have you ever wondered? I want you guys to think about this for a minute. Like, you've been working in this organization for years. Then this little whippersnapper comes in and they 3 levels below you. And then in 2 years, you're working for them. What happened? They knew strategy. They went on those outings. You went to the spa, they went and played golf. They went to whatever the volunteer was for the company, the volunteer event. They were working strategy. They knew where they wanted to go the minute they hit the door. So my question to you is, when are you going to learn strategy? All right. So, you know, again, you're watching this from the viewpoint perspective of, what is my takeaway? What is the 1 to 2 things that I learned from this program tonight that will make the greatest impact and that I am committed to taking action on? Okay, let's go back to the show. I don't know about y'all, but I just get excited. I love learning new stuff, new strategery.
Things that you need to do to just get your golf game on.
Great. So again, mindset, we've arrived. We know that we want to play golf. The next thing you need to do is think about taking lessons. Some people are intimidated by it. If you are, take a girlfriend, take a friend. But I would go to a local golf course. You can look online, or sometimes park and recs departments have courses, and you want to take a beginner series of lessons. I would say 5 lessons. I don't know off the top of my head. Every course is different. Probably won't cost you more than $150 to $250 to take a series of 5 lessons. Okay. So you go to the golf course, you find out when the next set of classes every Tuesday at 6 p.m. starts. Please don't run out and go buy golf clubs and golf outfits and all of that stuff. Why? Number 1, we're talking about getting wealthy. I want to make sure you stick to the sport. So you can say to the instructor, I don't have clubs yet. I'm just getting into the game. Do you have clubs that I could borrow during the lessons? Okay. So you and your best friend, you're taking lessons, you sign up for every Tuesday and you get your first lesson, and it is a lesson on putting. I think most of us are familiar with putt-putt or miniature golf, somewhat similar to that. The most important thing after you take that lesson is practicing. What I don't want you to do is show up for next week's lesson and you haven't practiced. It's just like going back to school where, you learn something in school, you need to do a homework assignment or apply that knowledge before you move on to the next lesson. Again, not much. If you do an hour putting lesson, do an hour practice at the local golf course. And so that piece around the lessons and practice is important. Also, you want to learn the rules. Good golfers don't mind playing with bad golfers or not so good golfers, but they do mind playing with people who are slow and people who don't know the rules. So there's an app nowadays, the USGA, United States Golf Association, I believe, has an app with all of the rules. It's a little over 30 rules. Read the app in the back, read one rule a day, right? Learn one rule a day or 2 rules a day. So now you know the rules. And then there's a bit of etiquette that goes with the golf. It's not necessarily a rule, but it's etiquette about how you present yourself, how you dress. You can't wear jeans on a golf course and things like that. There are rules and etiquette that you will learn, and any golfer will share that with you. But it's just most important that you take that step to take lessons. For those of you who are interested in using golf as a business tool, I've written a book. I even have a course under golfthesportofbusiness.com where I walk you through everything that you could possibly anticipate in business golf. And how do you prepare? How do you invite somebody to play business golf? What are the signals to say who's paying? Whether you're paying or whether someone else is paying, or how to ask that awkward question. All of that is in my course at golfthesportofbusiness.com. So again, it's 2 sides to it. It's the physical learning of the sport, but it's also educating yourself. And then lastly, all golfers will say, if you don't look good, you probably can't play good. Then if we are committed and we want to play, only then do I think it's time to invest in a set of clubs. And you might want to invest in a set of used clubs. There are play it again sports places. There are plenty of yard sales where people thought they were going to play golf and they're not playing golf. I would just rely on your golf instructor to help you figure out, what would be a decent set of clubs for you. And then the clothes. A lot of people go overboard. You don't have to. You just need to conform to the rules and etiquette. And for ladies, that's a pair of slacks or a skirt or a skirt or capri pants. You just don't want to wear shorty shorts and things like that. No tank tops on the golf course. Pretty much a collared shirt, polo shirt, as we grew up calling them. And you want to dress appropriately, and you will eventually need golf shoes. Do I recommend going out first time and buying them? No, usually a pair of sneakers will do until you are sure you are committed to the game.
Well, what I love about you and why I wanted you to give people sort of a sense of how you might approach it, I do think that once you take all the steps that you just described, that you want to now, what do you do to, feel like you belong? Do you join a local? Do you join a league? Do you go to a public course? How do you find how to kind of create that place that you can go and that you can bring others if you want to use the sport of golf to actually network as well?
All right, fantastic questions. There are many opportunities to do that. There is an opportunity to join leagues. Every golf course has a league almost every day of the week. There are women's leagues, there are men's leagues, there are co-ed leagues, there are 9-hole leagues, there are 18-hole leagues, there are traveling leagues. So a league is a good way to establish repetition in addition to meet people. So for example, if you sign up for the ladies 9-hole league at your local course, and every Wednesday you're showing up to play golf with a group of 15 or 20 women, and usually they mix up the group. So again, you are networking and playing with other women. You're also establishing that repetition and reinforcing what you learned in your lessons. So you're taking those lessons and putting them into action. Now, there are other ways to do it. If you have a friend who plays golf, is an experienced golfer, you don't necessarily want your friend teaching you how to play. We want to leave that to the golf professionals, because it's very easy to develop bad habits, and you have enough going on trying to learn the game. But you want your friend to play with you, right? If your friend plays on a weekly basis, hey, I'm just starting to play, I don't play really that well, can we go out late Sunday afternoon and play golf and hit the ball around and that sort of thing. And then in a corporate environment, I work with corporations all the time who do golf. They hire me to do golf education workshops as well as golf clinics for their female employees or their young employees just coming in out of college. So you may want to check with your employer to see if they have anything going on around golf. And there are, again, in addition to leagues, numerous groups throughout the country who are all about exposing women to golf. The LPGA has an amateur group that's all about exposing women to golf, and they have chapters all over the city. There is Black Girls Golf, Black Diamonds Golf. There are tons of organizations out there. So quick social media search on golf and Black women and that sort of thing will yield it. If not, reach out to me. I will get you connected depending on where you live. But you just have to ask, and you can play with anyone. There are golfers love other golfers. If you play golf, that puts your relationship at a different level with people. So it's just a matter of opening yourself out, going to the local golf course, and sometimes you can just hang out there and you see people, meet people, and talk to people.
You really, I believe, so if you're watching, Jandy has really given you kind of a roadmap into now how you actually go about getting involved in the game of golf. She's given us some perspective on it being more than just a game and more than just playing, but you need to do your homework, right? You need to make sure you understand the rules so that when you do start playing with other people, you can do so with confidence. So when we come back, however, what I want Jandy to touch on really is that the fact that golf is more than just a game, and what are some of the things that you can learn by networking through golf. So don't go anywhere, folks. We're talking about how your network is your net worth, and how to expand it using the game of golf. We'll be right back. I'm Deborah Owens.
All right now, so let me bring my camera up. Takeaways really quickly. I'm going to go right back to the video, but what was your takeaway from that? Ladies, that was all about execution. So I need you to really think about, okay, I have listened to what Jandy has to say, and if your next step is your best step, what are your next steps? So golfing presents an atmosphere conducive to building and creating relationships. That's right. And let me continue to read. Tricia, that was great insight. Great takeaway. This applies even if you don't actually play the game. That's right. You can just be in the environment. You can go to a golf, just go to the local country club, go to a public course, be around. But I think something really, really important she said there was that, golfers, I can't tell you how many times my husband's walking around in a Pebble Beach golf thing or whatever. As soon as people say, You been to Pebble Beach? And then that conversation goes on. They feel like they have something in common. And that's what it's about. That's what relationships are about. You have something in common, a common, interest. And that common interest can start a conversation that can then build a relationship. Ladies, are you getting this? Right? And so if you're wondering why your network hasn't expanded, then you need to figure out what am I what is my culpability in that? Like, why aren't I where I want to be? Well, listen, she's giving you some great insight on exactly what you need to do. And are you guys enjoying this conversation? Let me know in the chat. Excellent, because we're going to get right back to it.
And so talk to us a little bit about how that perspective and what you can learn.
Yeah. What an opportunity to build relationships, business relationships, relationships with your kids or your grandkids. But let's focus on the business relationships. It's better than a lunch appointment. Let's face it, if you invite me to lunch for business, I'm going to be on my best behavior for that hour, right? But golf, it is a 5-hour meeting in a relaxed, beautiful setting with minimal distractions. It's almost bad etiquette to have your cell phone going off while you're on the golf course. So again, you and your playing partner or partners can communicate with each other and talk just you with minimal distractions. But let's talk about what happens out there on the golf course. On the golf course, you are going to see the good, the bad, and the ugly. You're going to see me hit great shots. You're going to see me hit horrible shots, and you're going to see me hit downright ugly shots. But what matters and what you can infer from seeing that is how I handle. How do I handle that? How do I handle it when I hit a great shot? Am I bragging and strutting my stuff? What happens when I hit a bad shot? How do I handle that? What happens when I hit an ugly shot? Do I throw my clubs in the water? While you're on the golf course with somebody, it is an opportunity to read that person and also be read by that person. It's an opportunity to establish instant common ground. Again, if you are a golfer and you spend that time with somebody, that common ground is a commodity worth its weight in gold. And the thing that people don't realize is that physically, it takes 1.4 seconds to swing the golf club. Again, back through 1.4 seconds. Let's say we hit the golf club 100 times. That's only a few minutes that we're actually playing golf. What are we doing the other time? We're bonding. We're getting to know each other. You're building trust and rapport with the person that you're there. If you're there for business development, you can learn about what that person's needs are so that later on you can sell to them. So when you see people on the golf course, again, you can read them and trust they will be reading you. Are you confident? Do you take risk, or are you risk averse? No right and no wrong answer, just observations. Are you a team player, or do you drive off with the cart and leave your playing partner there? Are you selfish? How do you handle challenging situations? How do you deal with things that don't go well? Do you make excuses, or do you take responsibility for it? Again, if you show up late, what does that mean? So if I were entering into a business partnership with somebody, I would take them out on the golf course. Perhaps even if you were entering into a marriage or a relationship, because how people show up on the golf course is 9 times out of 10 how they show up in life.
Well, the reason why I wanted to have a conversation about this is because you're really talking about the psychology of golf, right? And I think and human behavior, and we really are talking about relationships and expanding your network. And so in just listening to you, one of my thought really was, I'm sure people would like to know what is proper etiquette around the kinds of conversations that you might want to have. Like if you invited somebody out and it was certainly a business a contact, do you want to talk business while you're doing golf? What is appropriate?
Right. So you don't want to jump in the cart and on the first of 18 holes say, so, it would cost us, $17,000 to do this. Are you interested? That's a big no-no. You don't want to do that, right? What you want to do is get inside the mind of your prospect. You want to know what keeps them up at night. You want to know what problems they are trying to solve that you could possibly address with your products and solutions. So I use the golf course for needs identification, rapport building, and understanding and getting to know that person. You want to hear about their kids or their grandkids or what have you. Because if that's what's important to them, they're going to talk to you about that. So I think you keep it light. You're learning, you're sharing, you're taking mental notes. Typically, after a round of golf, most people go back to the clubhouse. We call it the 19th hole, and people have a drink or meal or what have you. You want to, again, be reading your prospect and know that now is the time to talk about that. They're in a good mental space. Or I need to take everything that I've learned today and follow up in an email or conversation next week. And by the way, I've snapped a picture of us on the golf course. Certainly as a part of my follow-up, I am going to send a picture to them of us on the golf course to imprint that relationship in their mind.
Oh, Jandy, this was fantastic because now you just gave our folks some insight on actually how to execute the strategy, build your network, integrate it into the work that you do. And so here are the three things, the three takeaways from today's show that I want all of you to know. The first thing you should have learned is that mindset, golf, it's more than just a game, and you need to approach it in that way. And if you have any apprehension, really understand that you don't have to be fearful, because very few people, I think the biggest thing was like only 1 out of 10 people are really, really great and do and score less than 100. And then second, one of the ways that you can really overcome some of that apprehension is really understanding the game, learning the rules of play and etiquette. She gave out some great tips for that. And then the whole point of it is execution is the point of it is to expand your circle and leverage your network. And so Jandy, I just want to thank you for coming on Get Wealthy and really sharing with our audience how they can get in the game and learn the golf, the sport of business. And if you could just leave us with maybe a closing word of wisdom for today.
I would just say that, one, thank you for having me. It's always a great opportunity for me to talk about golf, my passion. And if I can ever help anyone turn their passion into profits, I'm here to do that. But again, I would just say, get your mind right.
What you have learned today. Because remember, your network is your net worth. That's going to do it for me on this episode of Get Wealthy. Tell your friends and keep watching because we have more to come.
All right, that's what I'm talking about. Are you playing checkers or are you playing chess? So, ladies, takeaways from tonight. Let me know in the chat. That last segment was amazing. And you know why I love talking with Jandy is she really gave you the insight, right? All the psychology, the things that no one ever tells us, right? Do you guys feel like she shared that with you about the game, about how you approach it, about the things that you can learn about people? After listening to her, I was thinking about, wow, think about it, being in that kind of an intimate uh, setting with someone for 4 hours. And the fact is that how people do anything is how they do everything, right? So you've got your viewing guide. Your assignment really is, what is the 1 to 2 things that I could apply that could have the greatest impact on me accelerating my growth, right? That's how I want you to use your viewing guide. And by the way, if we can put that Linktree link in the chat, that would be very helpful. I thought she did an outstanding job, right? She's a bad person. She's got an event too. I'm going to post it in the WealthyU community. She's taking folks to Dubai. That trip is in 2023. It's she does just fabulous events. So if you want to take a bucket list trip, then that would be it. Dennis, I saw your comments, Dennis, talking about you were on an assignment really with the LPGA, a video assignment. Great. Yes, and I'm just looking at your messages and take notes. Okay, so thank you guys so much. Did you enjoy Get Wealthy this episode? Did you learn something? Let me know in the chat. Perfect. Listen, last thing. If you want to gain more insight, like you learned tonight, like you've learned from this Get Wealthy segment, if you want to be in the right circle, our cohort to join this WealthyU Society cohort, it ends tonight. So let's put the link in the chat. Listen, all I want to tell you is for 5 days, we took you on a journey, the 5-day Savvy Money Makeover. You saw some amazing women. How many of you were inspired by the stories of the women on Get Wealthy? But, we're taking, on Get Wealthy, you're going to learn even more about how to start businesses, how women are. I just did an interview that I'm not going to give it away, but I'm so excited because there are sisters who are like, they're changing the game. And so I know that you're going to be excited about upcoming segments of Get Wealthy. But listen, here's all I want you to know, that no one does anything of any significance on their own. We created WealthyU for you. And more importantly, we created WealthyU Society and our WealthyU programs to help you implement what you learn, right? I'll leave you with this. Knowledge is not power. Knowledge is not power. Knowledge correctly applied is. And if you want to accelerate your financial growth, we want to help you do that. I'm Deborah Owens, America's Wealth Coach, founder and CEO of WealthyU, where we help you accelerate your financial growth to 7 figures and beyond.